Hailie Deegan has been all over the news yet again, and it seems like the interest in her has picked up very much now that she's raced in her hometown. The expectations for her are extremely high in the Truck Series, and while she had bad moments in the past, she is certainly planning on leaving them there and focusing on the present, which is living in the moment after the amazing result in the National Compact Touring Series. However, her statement right after the race was not something that her fans wanted to hear. And as of now, there's a huge possibility that the pressure will get the best out of her. And in a worst case scenario, she will be embarrassing herself yet again. Hailie Deegan has been making quite some controversial arguments about whether or not she deserves to be in the NASCAR world, but with the latest rise in her performance, the build-up to the hometown race in Ohio couldn't have come at a better moment. After racing Tony Stewart equally in the SRX series and almost winning, something that did actually win Tony's praise, Deegan is now focused on making her hometown fans prouder than ever. She does have one of the best trucks that NASCAR's Truck Series could offer to her, Thor Sport Racing. In the past, this team has produced a couple of champions, and while Hailie is now far from that scenario happening this season, a minor setback won't be enough for her to go out like one of the biggest busts in the history of NASCAR. Hailie is also a performance driver for Ford, and the number 13 F15 driver made the headlines after Eldora, something that started to spiral in a positive way for her from that point onward. In a race held at the Sandusky Speedway in Ohio, the full-time Craftsman Truck Series driver did participate in a compact car and ran the fastest time in the feature. What is an even greater achievement is that it was done on home soil, and as it appears, Hailie wasn't very confident heading into the race. You may wonder, what would have led to this insecurity in the first place? And we're here to answer that question for you. When Hailie Deegan moved from Tricon to Thor Sports, the expectations were massively high for her. Many expected her to be a championship candidate right away, and considering the fact that she was entering a team that has drivers like Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton, along with the super fast Majeski, I wouldn't say this was too far-fetched of a scenario for Deegan, to be fair with you. But in 2023, she only led for 2 laps. Her best finish is 6th, her average rank is 19.4, and her average finish is a desperate 21.4. In the last couple of races, she finished 31st in Indianapolis and 22nd in Milwaukee, so it's really safe to say that only having one top 10 finish, which is the best one so far in her career, and just 8 finishes inside the top 20th, go to show that maybe it's time to pull the plug on her career and just proclaim her as a bust. On top of that, she did participate in that accident with Alan Lawless, who went on an extra step when elaborating about this accident during the Rackley Roofing 200 on lap 3, adding, "I don't think there's much to say. She's talentless. Just sailed it off right there and wrecked me. It's lap, 3? And you're already sailing it in there? I just don't understand what that move was about. It's not the first time she wrecked me. She does it to effing everybody, so it's what it is." Before the race in Ohio happened, Deegan felt a lot of pressure on her shoulders just because she was coming from a hard period in her career. And when talking about this matter, she went on to say, "We are going out for race time. The race is short 25 laps because of all the wrecks that happened in the modified race. I'm a little nervous about seeing some of those wrecks, not gonna lie. So we're gonna try our best to stay clean and bring home a good finish." But from here on, even though her career in the Truck Series did continue to fall, she had a blistering moment during the Eldora race in the SRX series, one that seemed to have saved her career a little bit, or at least gave her a second chance in racing. After earning the respect of the founder of the series, Tony Stewart, Deegan has continued the uprise in her form in the hometown race in Ohio. And while it's in a different category, it just goes to show that maybe the Truck Series are not meant for her, and she should be pursuing her luck elsewhere. I mean, when you have Tony Stewart saying things like he did for Hailie, then I guess you don't just get to win on pure luck or finish second right behind the legend himself. As he went on to elaborate, the one thing people don't realize, Hailie Deegan is one hell of a dirt driver, so she gets the second there. She's gonna put pressure on, so just had to try to get some clean laps on restarts and get in the rhythm again and get going. Deegan also said that she desperately needed the Eldora race to boost her performance, and in an emotional interview, she didn't hold back on words as she said, "Oh man, I don't know what happened in the last couple of weeks or what's changed, but I've been lacking a little confidence these last couple of months, and I feel like these, I don't know, last 2 or 3 races, it's starting to come back, and I'm starting to get those finishes, starting to have more speed, and it's just all coming together. I've been working really hard the last couple of weeks, and it's paying off. Finally, we can see that it's paying off, and that has been proven after the latest race in Ohio. Hailie Deegan managed to pull the fastest lap on her home team's ground, and in a recent video uploaded on YouTube, she recorded her experience in the race, which saw her start 8th and finish 5th. It was definitely an eventful race for her because the race itself was on a track very close to her Truck Series team's shop. And while it was a short track, it's the one that's labeled a high-intensity one because the cars are quite close to each other. This is something that makes the drivers crash more frequently than not, and in the past, Hailie has been criticized for making moves that are way too dangerous on tracks like this. However, this time, she made sure that she would continue the dominance from the SRX series and prove to the world that if you're having a bad time in one series, it doesn't mean you're going to struggle for the entirety of your career. During the race, one thing that caught Hailie's mind was the stacked field, something that she found a bit hard to overcome. And when elaborating about her recent success and how she managed to hold off everybody behind her and grab some places ahead, Hailie added, "We are currently about a football field away from my race shop, Thor Sport Racing in Sandusky, Ohio." Well, if any of you know, in Sandusky, right next to the race shop, which you probably don't, but you're gonna know today, is that there is a small speedway, a small circle track, and the series that is racing in Sandusky today is the Compact Series. I was like, hell yeah, count me in. So they turned it into a big event. I think it's awesome. I know there's a bunch of fans coming out already, a bunch of cars. There were 45 compact cars. I'm like, damn, this field is stacked. And keep in mind that her car caught fire during the on-track accident, as her front right rotor has decided to step in and make things even more adrenaline rush for Hailie and her crew members. As they were getting ready to cool down the flame, Deegan insisted multiple times on her crew members to aim the extinguisher away from her, only to find out that they had used only water and nothing else in this process. We could talk whatever we want about Hailie and her wrecks in the past, but one thing is for sure, she has been put through a lot of pressure. And for the first time ever, it seems like she managed to endure that pressure very well. On top of that, she didn't hold back the excitement of finally feeling those small wins in her career, and it's obvious that from this point onwards, there is only going to be one way, and it's up. The fact that the NTCS welcomed Deegan with open arms and is open to working on growing promotions together goes to show that while the bad results in the Truck Series Championship did leave a bad mark on her performance, there is without a doubt a high-stakes opportunity for Deegan, one that might stick for a longer period of time now that she has finally found the groove of her performance. What do you think about Hailie's recent rise in performance? Let us know in the comments below.